As the killing, capture, and enslavement of our cetacean neighbors continues, so does the growing anger and temper of the ever-increasing numbers of the public. That anger is perfectly understandable and even commendable, for I see it as a measure of our humanity. Having said that, I will say that I totally agree with the view that uttering curses, and especially hurling racial epithets at those with whom one disagrees, is counterproductive. Such behavior is not, in my opinion, the solution to changing the minds of those who have been raised to believe that what they do is not only okay, but is a tradition. I have previously refrained from admonishing those who did so because I was of the personal opinion that these Tygean fishermen, hunters, killers, were acting in full knowledge of the horror being inflicted upon the captured pods of cetaceans, and therefore deserving of the anger and hatred being expressed. I was, and am still, angered beyond words, left shaking in fury at the helplessness which I feel watching as pod after pod is driven into that cove of hell. I am, if it's possible, even more angered at seeing live cetaceans being sold into a life of slavery, a life so bereft of even the basics that were available in their natural habitat as to make me want to physically throw any of those who were involved in or support this enslavement into a similar environment. However, I no longer see those hunters-killers as evil incarnate beings who, acting in full knowledge of the absolute horror they are causing these beautiful creatures, continue to do so out of wanton disregard. It has become apparent to me that those Tygeans who participate in the butchering and kidnapping of cetaceans see them only as simple property, and thus in their minds deserving of little more consideration in the boats they use to capture them. Oh, I'm sure that they must be aware that they are inflicting pain and suffering, but I no longer believe that they see it as do we. We see the cetacean as a sentient creature that has equal capacity for feelings and emotions as ourselves, and thus we perceive the inflicted cruelties as being no less depraved than if they were being inflicted upon a fellow human being. They, on the other hand, see the cetacean as simple property, a source for food, and for doing with as they choose, which has translated over the past 30 to 40 years as being selling live cetaceans to any who wish to buy. They do not recognize their treatment of the cetacean as being depraved at all. Thus, until or unless those Tygeans can be given their moment of epiphany in which they suddenly see the cetacean as an equal in feelings, etc., they will continue with this ongoing slaughter, kidnapping. Our job, therefore, not only with the Tygean hunter-killer, but with society as a whole, is to somehow bring about a change in the minds of such people. To somehow alter their current perception of the cetacean as being property to a realization that these are persons. Non-human persons, but persons nonetheless. no less deserving of certain basic rights than human persons. And those basic rights are set out in the Declaration of Cetacean Rights, which I invite any and all to sign if they haven't already. The details for that and the rights are set out at the end of this video. How to do this? How to bring about this change? While biting back the almost instinctive wish to tear our students limb from limb as they continue to carry out these horrific acts. Aye, there's the mountain we must conquer. The Taijians, for example, they know that we see their behavior as totally unacceptable. Hence the tarpaulins covering the killing field and covering the transport of the dead. But it's obviously still acceptable to them. Somehow we must make them see the cetacean as a person and not a piece of property. When we can do that, we will have succeeded in putting an end to the current horrors that are taking place in Taiji, Japan, and elsewhere in the world. In the meantime, we must continue our efforts to educate the public, and together with that public, put pressure upon the various governments to enact bans on the transport and enslavement of the cetacean. The day of freedom for our cetacean neighbors will come. It will come. We just have to have patience and continue our efforts unabated.